he really hurt me. You don't understand. My clients say that kind of stuff to me all the time. And I used to say it way more than I needed to. I used to allow other people to hurt my feelings. Do you guys do that? Do you allow other people to hurt your feelings? See, we don't realize we are in control of our emotions. We have more control over our emotions than we even realize. That we actually have to allow somebody to hurt us. Because words, they are just words. If you're an adult, you're over the age of 25, your brain is pretty much fully formed in the decision-making capacities and being able to make the right decisions. So we do have control over how we react and respond and how we feel about what somebody says to us. Now, when you say they really hurt me, I can understand that if someone grabs a stick and they're beating on you with a stick or they're punching you, but we cannot continue to allow people's words to hurt us. Now, it took me years to get to this place, so I don't expect everyone to get there overnight. But we have to really get to the place where we wake up and we are unoffendable, where we do not get offended by what anybody says. So how do we do that? It takes practice. It takes you deciding every day when you get up to forgive, to not let what anybody says or does bother you. When they're jabbing at you, when they're bullying you, when they're saying things that hurt you. So a friend of mine recently was feeling pretty bad because her husband said to her, "You look old." Well, those are three little words that you can decide, well, how does that make me feel? Can I allow someone to hurt me with those three words? You look old. So the only way that a person can hurt you is if you have decided in advance something that they say to you means something bad, means something derogatory. And yeah, they may have meant something bad when they said you looked old. Or consider that the devil, he knows what our insecurities are. He knows what will hurt us. He knows what bothers us. And when he wants to get to us, he'll send people in our life to say and do things that bother us, that hurt us, that make us feel bad. But listen, if you had decided in advance that being old isn't something terrible, it's a badge of honor in some ways, because it means you've been on this planet Earth longer than most people. You have wisdom, you give great advice, you know things. You know, there's a lot of positive connotations we can put with being old. You've heard the saying, older and wiser. The Bible says in the Old Testament, the hoary head is a crown of glory. That means gray hair. So there's a lot of things you can have going for you if you're old. But if you decided being old means you're obsolete, you're outdated, you're not attractive anymore. If you decided that means my husband's not attracted to me anymore, and you put all these negative connotations on that, then yeah, that can make you feel bad. But do you see how you've decided that that's what it means? It doesn't have to mean that. You can take it as a compliment. You can, when somebody says something to you, you have to realize that says more about them than it does you. You may be old. I guess it's all relative by somebody's standards. My friend Mel Novak always says, you're not old until you're cold. I think that's funny because basically that means you're not old until you're dead, because that's when you turn cold, your body turns cold. So are we going to allow people to hurt us? Are we going to allow the words that they say to make us feel bad? You know, a lot of times somebody says something to us and they don't even mean it the way we're taking it. So this was a scenario that happened on set the other day. I can't remember if I told you guys about this or not. So we're on set, it's mixed company, and there was a couple white people, there was a couple black women, couple just different races. And we were looking at pictures and we were talking about people, and I was talking about different roles I've had to wear aging makeup for, and they were wanting to see pictures of the aging makeup. And then this one Latina woman, she shows us a picture of this older black woman. And I was standing next to this other young black woman, and we're showing pictures, and the other white woman says, she looks at the picture and then she looks at the black woman and she says, oh, is that you in the photo? And the black woman got very offended because, and I looked at it right away. I go, oh no, that's not her. That woman's like 30 years older. But because we had been having the conversation about acting and aging makeup, for some reason, the other white woman said, oh, I thought that maybe that you just was an acting role and you had the aging makeup. But the black woman got so offended that she snapped back at the white woman and says, oh yeah, right, because we all look alike, don't we? Now, the white woman was not being stereotyping or prejudice or insinuating that in any way, but you can tell there had been some past trauma with that. There had been some past hurts that the black woman had gone through, where she's probably been in situations like that, where people did treat her like that or act like that or confuse her for somebody else. And that's a stereotype that has gone on for a while, where a lot of people, if they can't tell you apart, some people think they can't tell you apart if you're Asian or if you're black, and people get mad and offended, like, oh yeah, we all look alike. But her being hurt and offended, it didn't really have anything to do with the woman who just asked a simple question and said, oh, is that you in the photo? I don't know, could the woman who said that have paid more attention or looked more closely at the photo and been sure before she said anything? It seemed like an honest mistake. It wasn't, but it left all of us feeling very like, ooh, this woman basically just accused this woman of being racist, and I don't know, it was a yucky feeling, but it all had to do with taking in someone's words and making them mean something that it didn't really mean. And that's due to past hurts. With my friend being old, that's due to insecurities. She does not want to look old or get old. And, she's done several things to, try to make herself, come across as younger. And she's married to someone who's younger, much younger than her. So there's all these things going on in her mind. So even if somebody says something in an innocent way, like, oh, I like the little silver streaks coming in your hair, and they mean it as a compliment, somebody who is very insecure about their age could be, oh my gosh, how dare you call me ugly? How dare you say I have gray hair? How dare you say I'm old? And that might not have been the situation. So I know this is kind of a lot to unpack for this, but I want you guys to not allow yourself to be hurt, to not allow something somebody else says to ruin your day. Sometimes we have to stop and pull it apart, stop and go, okay, before I get angry, hurt, mad, and offended about what this person said, did they really mean it to hurt me? Were they trying to do that? Okay, maybe the answer is yes. Well, then the next step is, am I going to allow them to hurt me? Am I going to allow what they just said to ruin my day, to make me cry, to make me go in my room, to get so furious with them that now we don't have a good day together? That is a choice. So you could take a break, you could go in the other room, you could pray about it, you could come back and say, sweetheart, I know we were in a fight, and I know you're mad at me, and I know you know what my insecurities are, so you went and you poked that, you pushed that button. You pushed that button that gets me. Whew. So please don't do that again, because you know, I'm trying to feel good about myself, and I'm working on my self-esteem. But when you bring up that I'm looking old, like, I already know. I look in the mirror, I see the grays coming in, I see the crow's feet forming, I see stuff starting to droop that wasn't there before. And I love you with all my heart, and I'm praying that you'll keep loving me forever. Even, you know, you have those honest conversations, but don't just go off in the room and be hurt and offended and not speak to each other and be in a fight. And then that's one level. The next level is to just be like, you know what? They must just be having a bad day. I'm just going to forgive them. I'm not going to be hurt by that. They said something I didn't like, and I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to forgive them, and I'm going to love them. That's like the next level up, okay? So we don't want to keep being in this place down here where when somebody says something we don't like, we just lose it, and we're angry, and we're hurt, and we're crying. You guys need to just keep growing from there. Let me tell you, when you reach a level, I'm like 60% there, 70% there, but when you reach a level where people can say stuff to you and it doesn't cut you open, it doesn't cut you with a knife, and you're not just losing it, let me tell you, there is such freedom. There is such freedom to be so secure in who you are that anybody could say anything to you and you just laugh about it. You know, I was telling one of my clients one time, I used to be insecure about my looks and all this stuff, and like if somebody would have said to me, oh, you look like a slut or whatever, I would be like worried. I would be questioning myself. I would be, oh my gosh, was my skirt too short? Was my blouse too low? Why would they be saying something like that? Did they see me? I had to do this kissing scene for this movie. Did they think that was real? Did they think I'm cheating on my husband? Why do they think I'm a slut? And I would be all in my head and freaked out and worried. Some people are just jerks. Some people are just going to say something and just say it. They have no filters. They don't know how to be kind. Just because somebody says it doesn't make it the truth. That's another thing we have to learn. There's a lot of lessons to unpack in this. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's true. It's like, what are you making it mean? So when somebody said, oh, you look like a slut or whatever, I would be like, oh my gosh, what are you know. Now, if somebody comes up to me and they're like, oh, you look like a streetwalker, you look like a whore, I'm like, oh yeah, all day, every day, your daddy's my best customer. I try to make a joke out of it because it's so ridiculous now. It's so silly when somebody says something like that to me. So I'm just like, oh yeah. And if they keep on it, no, I think you are a streetwalker. Oh yeah, I got half price Tuesdays. You interested? Now, I'm being totally tongue-in-cheek, but you can do the same thing with any insult. Oh, you're old. Yeah, I used to date Methuselah, but he died before me. For those of you who don't know, Methuselah lived to 969 years, the oldest person ever in the world. So don't just turn their insults into jokes. Be secure in who you are. Love yourself. We can't change, we can't go back and change the clock. We cannot make ourselves 20 years younger. Maybe the best plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills can. But if you don't have $50,000 or $100,000 to do that, you just have to embrace who you are and where you're at. Maybe someone's calling you fat. Well, yes, you could potentially do something about that, but hey, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're slowly trying to lose weight and get healthy. It doesn't matter what somebody says. It matters what you make it mean. So let it be something that nudges you to be better, to do something good for yourself, to love yourself where you're at, to not make someone else's comments whip you around. You are not a rag doll. You cannot let your emotions whip you about. You cannot let other people's comments change your mood. I mean, you can, but that's not the level of growth we want. Guys, we want bigger. We want the next level. We want more than that. We want to, the scripture says, 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of, I don't remember the middle part, peace, love, and a sound mind. The sound mind is the part I was getting to. I'll put the scripture on the screen so we know the correct version. But God has given us a sound mind. He has not given us the spirit of fear. He's given us a sound mind. If you have a sound mind and you can think for yourself, you are in control of your emotions. You don't let other people pull the strings and determine and decide, oh, I'm going to say something that will make Katherine angry. People used to be able to do that. I'm going to say something that's going to make Katherine sad or cry, depressed. People used to be able to do that. Now, I'm not saying that there's never a time for your emotions. There is a time for your emotions. If you see injustice happening, yeah, that's a time for righteous anger. So I'm getting into a whole mess of things right now, but people can't push your buttons if you don't have any buttons that stick out. So emotions, be in control of them, be unoffendable. Decide every morning before you wake up that you're not going to take offense, that you're not going to be offended. That will get you so far in life. You know what? Being in control of your emotions will get you further in life than having multiple degrees, than having millions of dollars in the bank. Because how many of you have seen highly educated people with degrees, doctorates, and have seen people with millions of dollars in the bank lose their stuff? Someone has said something to them, but they don't have the emotional intelligence. They don't have their emotions in control, and they lose it. We've seen them caught on camera. Some of the best, biggest movie stars, celebrities, we've seen them lose their stuff because they may have been smart, they may have been rich, but they did not have the emotional intelligence. So that's something I'm always working on with you guys, because that was the game changer for me. To not listen to others, but to listen to me, how I feel about myself, how God feels about myself, and not let anybody else's opinion to the contrary move me. So keep working on that, guys. Let me know in the comments if you've done that, if you've been able to master that, if you've gotten better at that. Let me know what you need help with. And guys, if you thought this was helpful, please share this, subscribe to my channel, and I want to keep putting out content that blesses you. So if you have any other struggles you're dealing with, you let me know and I will do my best to make a video and answer your questions for you. All right, live true, love hard, shine bright.